Hey, how's it going, everybody? Coach D here from All Out Athletes. And with me, as you can see, is the coach from Jackson Memorial High School who's in the championship last dance baseball tournament game tomorrow night, and he's on his way to practice. And we thought we'd get him on here for 2 minutes, just real quick to talk about tomorrow. How's it going, Coach?
Great. How are you? Thanks for having me.
I'm doing great. Thanks for taking the time for 2 minutes just to sneak this in. So,
No
what are you
problem.
looking forward for tomorrow? And how do you think the tournament's gone so far?
I think it's been great thus far. You know, our guys were excited about it, the opportunity to stay together and keep on playing and to, experience the stadiums, play in that atmosphere. That's been pretty cool for our guys. We're looking forward to tomorrow night.
Yeah, it's going to be great. You're going up against Cranford, and with us right now jumping on is the Cranford High School coach, Dennis McCaffrey, is jumping on in a second. So we'll wait for him. So, Coach, I'm sure your seniors are real excited. You had a tough game yesterday, and you pulled through yesterday's game. That was one of your toughest games.
Yeah, look, I think we've won in a lot of different ways during this tournament. So, I think that's always a great thing to experience, when you're on a championship run.
So, as we mentioned, Coach Frank Malta's on his way to practice, and with us right now is the North Championship coach from Cranford High School, Dennis McCaffrey. Dennis, how's it going, buddy?
Hi, how are you? Thank you very much for having me today.
Hey, thanks for coming on. Guys, thanks for coming on. I know it's a crazy day. So let's just get into it. So, Dennis, what are you looking forward to tomorrow, and how you think the tournament's gone so far?
I'm looking forward to seeing Frank Malta. He's been a friend of mine for years, so it'll be nice to see Frank. And then, we'll see how the game plays out.
Oh, where'd you meet Frank at? You guys know each other?
Oh, yeah. Long time.
Where'd you guys first meet at, real quick?
We played together summer ball, ECBL, back in the day.
Yeah. Frank, you were better than Dennis?
No, that's false. Dennis got paid to play.
Yeah, Dennis works now in the school as well, so he wasn't that good.
So, Dennis,
can you guys see me? I don't know. Am I out of this? I can't see you even on.
Dennis, you're on. Dennis, you're on. We could hear you. We could see you. Frank has to go. Dennis, you have any last words for Frank before he goes over to his practice? He's got a tough practice coming up to face your you're one of the best hitting teams in the tournament right now. So I guess he's going to be working out his pitchers right now and giving them a talking to.
There's no need to practice. You guys should take the day off and just relax. No worries at all. And, give us 5-run lead if you could, please, Frank. I'd appreciate it.
Our practice, we're going into the pool. We have unicorn floats. We're all going to get on unicorn floats and drink iced teas with umbrellas in them. So that's our practice for today.
Sounds good. Yeah, we're going to take the day off, too. We're not going to practice either.
Good. We'll go into a cold.
Sounds good. Hey, everything going all right for you, Frank? You doing okay?
Yeah, man. How about yourself? Everything good?
How's your daughter?
She's great, man. Thank you for asking. Doing well.
That's good. That's good. The last time I spoke to you was maybe by text when you won the state championship. Congratulations.
Yeah, that may have been the last time. Yeah, that's true. Thank you.
You're welcome. You're very welcome.
So Frank, before you go, you have any last words for Dennis?
Looking forward to it. I think it's a great thing for both of us to be here. I know our both of our programs, both of our players or all the players in our program are excited for the opportunity. I know a lot of you guys are making a big deal about it being an all-public thing. But if I know Dennis and I know the way he runs his program, very much like myself, it's about competing. So I think we're just both looking forward to the competition and the opportunity. So good luck to you guys. I hope you guys play well, and not too well, but I hope you play well, and I hope it's a great show. So that's what we're looking forward to.
Dennis, any last words for Frank?
I'm looking forward to seeing him again. Like Frank said, we've known each other for many years. I watched Frank as a player, a very good player, and I watch what he does as a coach. I respect and admire the Jackson program and what he does. I'm very happy for him, and it would be very nice to see Frank and his pitching coach, Nick Coleman. I've known him as well. So it'll be nice to see you guys Friday night.
Frank froze on us, but if you can hear us, Frank, good luck tomorrow. The game's at 7 p.m. at the Trenton Thunder at the Arm & Hammer Stadium. And Dennis, you and I are going to continue. And
Sure.
I'll pick your brain a little bit. This is the first time you're on our podcast. I appreciate you coming on.
My pleasure.
Let me see if I can remove Frank. I guess he's just going to be there in the screen. There we go. All right. So, Dennis, how are you? How's it going? I'm Coach D from All Out Athletes. First time we get to speak to each other.
It's going very well. Thanks for asking. How are you?
I'm doing great. John Kroger gave me Chapman's number, and Chapman goes, "Oh, you got to talk to McCaffrey." And then, and then as the tournament went on, I go and watch Cranford, and I haven't been to a really good game. Maybe that's because I've been watching Cranford play. It's because every game was like you guys win by 7-8. Even last night, I go to you guys. I mean, the bats that you guys bring to each game was like unbelievable. Every game, it was crazy.
Yeah, we're fortunate. We had some timely hitting. It starts on the mound. We've had our pitchers be able to throw good games, and that sets the tone. And we've been able to have some timely hitting and situational hitting, which has worked out well so far in the tournament.
So, can you just give us a little rundown of your history of coaching? I know you have over 400 career wins. A few years ago, you won the Group 3 state championship. Can you run us down where your coaching started, why you got into coaching, and how you got to be where you are today?
Well, I started coaching under the direction of Coach John Wagner, my high school football coach, and he totally took me under his wing. And I coached football there with him, and then I coached baseball with Jamie Schreiner, both from Roselle Park, both Hall of Fame inductees in the Roselle Park Hall of Fame. So I've been very fortunate to be able to be around successful people like that. I come from Roselle Park, which is a very athletic town, a very loyal town, and I learned a lot of values there as far as just to work hard, listen to your coaches, play as hard as you can, and be the hardest competitor on the field. And that's what Roselle Park was all about. So I'm very fortunate to be able to come from a town like that where you have the superintendent, Mr. Ernie Finizio, who truly loves you, and I have coaches that reach out to me after every round, before the round, after the round, wishing you good luck. So there's a lot of support that came from where my hometown was. And then I got involved in Cranford, and I've been able to be the coach here for, I guess it's probably my 20th or 21st year.
It's amazing because wherever you and Frank Malta have coached, the Jackson Memorial coach, wherever you guys coach, it's almost like, they say Catholic schools don't recruit and things like that, but they don't have to recruit, right? Because you can go anywhere you want. You go to any Catholic school you want. But players outside Cranford can't go to Cranford. Players outside Jackson Memorial can't go to Jackson Memorial. So it's not like you guys can get players from all over the state, yet you guys have been so successful. What do you credit? What is the number one thing you credit your success to as a coach?
It's not really my success. It's the Cranford community's success. This is a Cranford town that supports the athletics. It's a wonderful town to coach in. It's a wonderful town to live in. Live in the town as well. There's a lot of support through the administration, through the school system, and through the Little League. There's parents that have devoted so much time of their life towards the Cranford Little League. You have Kevin Weatherall, Bob Bruns, you have the Miolas, you have Howard Rood, you have the Drexels. There's so many people in this town that care so much about Cranford baseball, and they give so much time and volunteer. And then you take a guy like me who's able to feed off of all they do, all the success that they've had and what they've taught them. And basically what I need to do is just make sure I keep forcing what they have told the kids to do at a younger age. It's a baseball town. The kids work hard for Cranford High School. They're devoted kids. They play multiple sports. There's a coaching staff here that really pushes the kids to play more than just baseball. I want the kids to play multiple sports. The football coach, the wrestling coach, the soccer coach, they all want the kids to play multiple sports. And that's very, very important here in Cranford.
I think that's a great point because I've run into coaches over the years who didn't, who only want them to play that one sport all year round. And we find out there are many players, many Division I players who've played more than one sport. And when you have that support as your community has from all the coaches, right? Because you have one coach who wants them to play multiple, and sometimes you have other coaches say no. But when all of them come together, right, it's about the athlete's experience, not ours. And it sounds like you guys are doing everything you can for that athlete.
It does. It does. Our athletic director, Darren Torzone, is very supportive, really works with all the athletes, gives us a lot of support. And then the coaches really have the same mindset that we all support each other. We go to each other's games. Our football coach, Eric Rosemeyer, who's come in and won 2 state titles, has the kids lifting in a phys ed class with them. So it's a lot of support, and there's the same mindset through the younger kids to the high school kids. And, you know, the community certainly supports all the athletics here in Cranford.
So, Coach, let's jump into the Last Dance tournament. So I'm gonna throw a question at you. Would you love to have this tournament again next year? I know athletes play travel ball in the summertime, but how excited would it be after the season if you got to play a tournament like this?
I have to be honest with you. I'm not even really thinking about, you know, next year or next week. I don't really think like that. I'm not programmed that way. I really try and just stay in the moment. I could certainly answer that question probably in another week or so with a better answer. But right now, I'm not really worried about next year or the tournament or anything like that. I have a practice after this, and that's really what I'm going to focus on. I honestly don't care about next year right now. To be very
Coach, that's a great answer. That's a great answer, because if I ask you that on Saturday and Sunday, I'll get a different answer, because you're right. I forgot. I'm trying to get out these questions because I don't know if you'll be coming on again. I hope you do, and then I can ask you those questions. But, yeah, you have one focus in mind, and that's what Frank should have as well.
Yeah, I will certainly meet and speak with you anytime. I appreciate you taking the time to meet with me. But you could say it's a great answer. It's truly an honest answer. You know, any of the kids that have been around the coaching staff and the program here, it's literally about just staying in the moment and trying to just not get too high or not get too low.
Yeah, that's what we've talked to all the coaches about, is all about staying in the moment and what's right in front of you, right? Or you're right here, right now. So I loved your answer. So,
thank you.
So tomorrow night, the game's at 7 p.m. How have the kids responded so far? I know, listen, your team has a lot of energy. I've been to a couple of your games. They have a lot of energy. And one thing we talk about here at All Out Athletes is you either hold back or you go all out, and you can't go all out without that energy. And to see the amount of energy that your team has, whether it's the start of the game, it's the 4th inning, it's the 7th inning, you would never know it's the middle of the game, the 1st inning, or the last inning. They bring the same energy. How do you keep up that energy in practice? Like, how do you train that with athletes?
Well, it starts in practice. You know, we practice for only 2 hours a day, and they know that. And what we ask them is to have a 2-hour mindset of maximum effort. And after 2 hours, regardless of where we're at, we stop practice. And that's usually the same length of a game, is 2 hours. And this group is unique. They definitely have a little more energy than traditional teams in the past. They've had to be redirected a couple times, you know, by the coaching staff, which, you know, we had to address. But, you know, to just speak about this team, it's a team that has a lot of chemistry. They actually like each other. They're friends. They're friends on the field. They're off the field. They're friends, and they enjoy being around each other. And when you have that type of chemistry, you put yourself in a position where you have an opportunity to have success.
You know, Coach, you said something extremely important for all coaches. A lot of times we tell athletes, do this 3 or 4 times. Then they get to it and say, okay, do that one more time. Do that one more time. 2 more minutes. We're almost done with practice. They know practice is going to end at 2 hours. And there's no one more, you're saying, after that. No matter what we're doing, we're in the middle of batting practice. We're in the middle of cardio. Whatever we're doing, we're stopping right there. 2 hours.
They know. And
that's great.
You can never question their effort. This group and groups in the past, they work very hard. They'll practice when you ask them to practice, regardless of what time it is. It's a committed program. It's a bunch of kids in the past and currently that really work hard. They're very intelligent kids. They're loyal kids. And, you know, it's not by accident that I've been here 20 years. It's a wonderful, wonderful town and school district to coach in.
Right. I'm saying, Coach, I think it's a great thing that they know the practice is going to end, that there's not going to be one more, another half hour, another 10 minutes. So you're saying, give me everything you got And I promise you, with that 2-hour mark, when you gave everybody everything you got, we're ending it. They know there's going to be an ending. And a lot of times, I think that's very important for athletes, knowing if I keep giving and the coach keeps taking, and practice was supposed to be 2 hours, now it's 2.5. How much more does he want? I think what you're doing, I think that's awesome. No matter what we're doing, so they trust you that no matter what we're doing, practice is ending. I love that. I love that.
Well, you hope. Trust is an important word when you're coaching or you're dealing with people in the relationships. You want to have a mutual trust and you want to have mutual respect. And, I've been fortunate to coach here at Cranford to make some very good lifelong relationships with the kids. Our whole coaching staff is all former coaching players that now coach at Cranford. And that's not by accident. It's a program, it's a mindset. I think the kids trust the coaches. I think the coaches trust the kids. There's a mutual respect. There's a mutual liking to be around each other. And when you have that, you certainly put yourself in a better chance to have hopeful success.
Well, Coach, what we do here at All Out Athletes, we basically steal all the ideas of all the coaches and championship athletes throughout the world, and we do a podcast on Thursday night called Think Like a Champion. So I do a podcast with a professor in sports psychology, the great Dr. Gilbert from Montclair State University, and that'll be one of the things that we're talking about. So we know a lot of coaches, can you end practice? Give me everything you got, and boom. And as you said, the trust factor. But once you break that trust, it's hard to get it back.
Done. And, I was fortunate, when I was a younger person, I was around Ken Revisa, who's a very significant person in the mental component of baseball. And I would really spend a lot of time with him. I'd ask him a lot of questions. I would listen. And he taught me to listen more than you speak. And he told me a lot of things about the mental piece of baseball, which we really try and enforce here at Cranford. We want the kids to be comfortable. We want them to be at a relaxed state when they play, having fun. It looks very serious, and I know a lot of people from the outside, when they see the whole program, it looks very serious, but I do think, and I think the kids would echo this thought, is that they're having fun while we're doing it.
Yeah, and that's what I think when you see serious coaches out there like yourself, and you're saying it's real serious, and as an outsider looking, it's like, wow, that's, sometimes it could be a little over the top, but then once you get all the kids on the same level, right, then that's when the fun happens. When they understand the program, they understand everything, then that's when, they get to enjoy each other and enjoy the game.
And I think, too, is that a lot of this is established and built, not between March and May. It's done in the summertime where you practice with them, you spend a lot of time with them. The kids appreciate the coaching staff going to their games. The kids appreciate being involved, not only as an athlete, but being involved with them as a person. But again, Cranford's a wonderful community. It's a wonderful place to live. It's a wonderful place to go to school. It's a wonderful place for a student to play sports. But it's a very supportive, caring, close-knit community, which the kids have the opportunity to be a part of. And they're very fortunate. And we make sure they know how fortunate they are to be able to live in a town like Cranford with all the support, the love, and the guidance they get from all the parents. The parents are wonderful in this town. They're very supportive, and their support is truly appreciated by all the coaching staff.
To have the support of the parents is huge in any aspect, because everything could be going great, but if you don't have that support, it becomes a huge distraction on the side that you have to deal with. And when you have the support of the parents, you can be totally focused on the athletes and move. You can get a lot more accomplished.
I'm a parent too, so I realize that you want your child to bat first, second, or third, and you want them to be a significant part of the team. And what we try and do with all Cranford sports is make sure that every student athlete has a role on the team, regardless if they're playing every day, if they're not playing. And as long as you're verbal and you're transparent about it, and the student athlete knows their role, a lot of times, success can happen. Sometimes you get a parent who'll be upset, but then you have to have that open dialogue with the student athlete, and hopefully that usually will patch any type of problems.
So, Coach, I'll bring you back on to pick your brain about coaching a little more. But as far as the Last Dance baseball tournament is concerned, You got any words you want to say maybe to even like Mike Murray or John Kroger or Brian Chapman, the three guys who put all this together? I think they've done a fantastic job. Everywhere I went, everything seemed to go smoothly. Anything you want to say to those guys? Because those guys are, the main reason why you and I are sitting here and why you and Frank are in the championship tomorrow night.
Yeah, of course. And last night when after the game, our kids went up and actually thanked Mr. Kroger for all of his efforts, and Mr. Chapman was there as well. And, to the three of them as well as Mike Murray, I think I'm speaking for all the coaches in New Jersey. What you guys did as far as volunteering your time and giving up so much of your personal time to make it work for so many kids in the state of New Jersey who lost their spring season. It's very much appreciated. It's admired what you guys did. And I think I speak for a lot of coaches in the state of New Jersey. Just say thank you very much for your kindness, your empathy, and for volunteering your time, because you made a lot of kids have one last opportunity of a situation that would have been lost if you guys didn't go out of your way and try and help people. So on behalf of all the coaches, I say thank you very much for what you did, organizing and making this tournament actually happen. So thank you.
Well said. Well said, Dennis. Thank you for that. You said I had all three of those guys on the podcast, and one of the things that I had said to them is, there's people outside of baseball, parents who they know people in their families who have died from corona, people in their families who are sick from it, and they haven't even left the house, a lot of them. And, Kroger, Murray, and Chapman are the reason why a lot of these people came out of their house, to bring life back to them, to get back out there. And I think the biggest thank you is what your athletes did when it comes from the athletes, to go up to Chapman and Kroger and thank them. I mean, that's a huge thank you, because that's who they're doing it for, right? And I think that must have meant a lot to them.
The kids, that's the way Cranford kids are. They're very polite, respectful. They're brought up in a wonderful household, and they did that. They went up to Mr. Kroger, they saw Mr. Chapman afterwards, and they thanked them. And I saw kids do it with Mr. Kroger. And not only are they good, solid student athletes, but they're good kids here at Cranford, which makes it a total pleasure to coach.
Well, Dennis, it's been great having you on. Thanks for coming on with us. I look forward to having you on next week, possibly sometime. And you have any last words before we get to the final game? How many games were played? How many games do you know? I was reading the papers, 400 games.
Yeah, and I know it took 7 rounds to win to get to this final game. You had to win 7 games, so both teams, have successfully won 7 games.
Yeah. Yes. Each team has won 7. Do you know how many games were played in the whole tournament?
No, I don't know that number.
Right. I think it's over 400 or something. But you have any last words before we get to the Last Dance Championship to your team, or?
Well, I'd like to thank you for doing what you're doing, bringing this to the level that it's at, for your coverage and for having me on your podcast. I appreciate that. I appreciate what you're doing for New Jersey sports and for the student athletes in New Jersey. And again, to Mr. Murray, Mr. Chapman, and Mr. Kroger, thank you very much for putting it together, for all the other people that volunteered their time. I think that all the coaches are very much appreciative of what you've done, and you allow kids who would have lost the opportunity to play, an opportunity to play one last time. So thank you very much.
Well, thanks a lot, Dennis. It's been great having you on. And here at All Out Athletes, all we do is talk about energy. And I get excited when I see teams with a lot of energy, and your team has that, along with Jackson Memorial High School. Both teams had have a lot of energy. And when I sit back and watch that energy, that's when I see coaches that are not just in a sport, they're totally into a sport. And that's the fun for us. When we see people take advantage of, you said, of the moment. You're either in it or you're totally into it. And if you want to see 2 teams who are totally into it, they're sold out tomorrow. They sold out in like 15 minutes. But it'll be Trenton Thunder, Arm & Hammer Arena at the stadium tomorrow at 7 p.m. Sometimes they have cancellations, so you can actually go there and wait in line. There are cancellations. And they'll let so many people, and they count how many people go into the building. So if there's only 450, they'll let another 50 people in by like the 3rd or 4th inning. So you can try and get in there. There's still a chance you can get into the game. So, Dennis, once again, thanks for coming on. And to all the athletes, Good luck to you. And every time you walk out onto that field, you only have one question to ask yourself, and that is, are you going to hold back or are you going to go all out? You ask yourself that question, and it's not by the words you say. It's about the actions you express. Coach Dennis, thanks for coming on, and we'll see everybody next time on the Last Dance Baseball Tournament podcast. Good luck to both teams. We'll see you next time, everybody. Thanks, Coach.
Thank you.
Hey, Coach D here. Thanks for joining us tonight, and good luck to Jackson Memorial High School and Cranford High School. Thank you to Frank Malta and Dennis McCaffrey for coming on. It was fun having you on the podcast. There are some people in life, no matter what they do, no matter what they're doing, they bring things to life. Tomorrow night, Jackson Memorial and Cranford will bring the game of baseball to life. Not only the first inning, every pitch, the whole game. It's going to be a treat to see. And if you need to create energy in your own life, the number one way to create energy, Jackson and Cranford already know the secret. And we're going to share it with you right now. Coach D and a professor of sports psychology, Dr. G, that podcast starts right now. Hey, how's it going, everybody? Coach D here from All Out Athletes. And I really want to thank you once again for joining us on our podcast, as we are performance coaches and we have studied the mental skills and attitudes of athletes during their training, the amount of focus and energy that they put into their training, and the attitude that they have when they go through the hard times. And we're here to share that with you so we can help you get to the next level of your game. That's why we're here. It's about how can we help you become that athlete that you so desire to be. And with me is one of our performance coaches, author, professional speaker, motivational speaker, and professor in sports psychology, the athlete igniter, the great Dr. Gilbert. How's it going, Doc?
I'm okay.
What's going on?
How are you?
You feel low energy?
Let me ask you a question. You do that, and people don't realize how many takes we do of these things. And every time you have your energy level up, every single time, do you always feel energized?
No, I don't always feel it.
Yeah, so that's what we're getting across. You don't have to feel it to do it. I don't feel like it. We've talked about this so many times. Just do it, and then you'll feel like it. A professional is a person that does it best when they feel like it least. You don't have to feel like it to do it, but once you start doing it, you'll feel like it. You don't have to be energized to act energized. You don't have to be happy to smile. So let me tell you a little story about a pen. And they did a study, and they had people come in, college students come in, and they had to rate their mood. And then they gave them a pen, and they said, bite down on this. They bit down on that. And then they had to rate their mood, and they were happier after they bit down on the pencil or the pen. Now, I know you think this is stupid. They were happier after they bit down on a pen or pencil. Why? Because when you do this, you're activating your smile muscles. So when you say, oh, well, I don't feel like practicing today, act energized, and then you'll feel energized. So that's the whole thing. So every time you see Coach G, that's what I want you to think about. You say every single time, is his energy real or is it fake? It really doesn't matter. Like if you play the role of the king or the queen on Broadway, you have to start acting the role of the king or the queen. Are you really the king or the queen? No, you're acting the role. But here's where the magic happens. Sometime after a month or a year, sometime you actually become the king or the queen. You actually become the role. You're not acting as if you are. Now, we can't tell you how long it takes, but Coach D has been doing this so long, it's just like that, it's just like a snap of a finger. He just flips the switch and it's there.
Doc, and so you have to activate that inner energy. You have to ignite that inner energy that you have. And you asked, do I always feel like it? I don't always feel like it, but I can tell you this, Doc. It doesn't take me 10 minutes. It takes me like 10 seconds. And ACE, action creates energy. Once I get into it, that's when I start feeling it. But if I wait till I start feeling it, I'll never do it. And that's how it is for you. If you wait till you start feeling it, it's not going to happen. You have to act it, and then you'll feel it. as we've said before, your movement will actually change your moods. It will. Your behavior will change your belief system. You start acting a certain way. You start feeling a certain way. ACE, again, action creates energy. Just get out there. Take action. You put your actions ahead of your feelings, and I guarantee you, your feelings will follow. Now, it may take longer than 10. I've been doing this for a long time. We've known this secret for a long time. People say, Coach D, you always have a lot of energy. But that doesn't mean I feel that way all the time. How would you feel if you're working with a coach and the coach acted how he felt or acted how she felt? What if they had low energy? You wouldn't want to work with that coach. You don't care how they feel. You just want them to be into what you're doing. You want the coach to be totally into everything you're doing to make you the best player. You don't care how they feel. You don't care how the dentist feels when he's working on your teeth. You don't care how the doctor feels when he's saving somebody in your family's life. Nobody cares how to feel when it's go time. When the lights come on, it's time to perform. Is your performance based on your feelings or based on your actions? Let your actions take over. Let them take over your life. When you let your actions take over your life, your energy into your training will be higher than any. It would be so noticeable in the gym. I'm telling you, how many parents see that one energy? There's always that one game or competition you go to where there's that one athlete that's just so energized. They're all over the place. And they're so energized and focused on what they're doing. They're above everybody else. And parents go home not talking about their kid. They're talking about somebody else's kid at the dinner table. They're talking about how energized that athlete is. And that depends if you put your actions ahead of your feelings. That's up to you. That's the choice you make every time you go out to train.
Okay, so let's see if you're a psychic. I know you say you're psychic. I am thinking of a part of The Last Dance. What segment am I thinking about in The Last Dance? What moment am I thinking about?
So The Last Dance was a documentary on ESPN about the championship NBA life of Michael Jordan and his incredible focus and energy that he had that was above and beyond almost any athlete in the world.
What game am I thinking about?
What game? Oh, you're asking me?
Yeah.
What game?
Yeah.
I don't know which one to mention. Was it Game 6, 1998?
Well, what game did he act above his feelings?
Oh, was that the game he had pneumonia? Or
Yeah.
the game he was – I mean,
Yeah,
you know how many times he had
Now, I don't know if it was a flu. I don't know if it was a bad pizza. I don't know if it was food poisoning.
Right.
But here he was. He could barely stand up. And I don't know, would he play like 38 minutes? And he was unbelievable. Michael Jordan, he just puts himself out there. He acts differently than he feels. He acts different than his health was. His health was here. His performance was here, Unbelievable. There's so much to be learned from watching The Last Dance. So what does this have to do with you? What does this have to do with you? Most people are trapped by their feelings. I don't feel like it. Study when you don't feel like it. And the more you study when you don't feel like it, then you'll overcome the resistance. Practice when you don't feel like it. See, that's an emotional barbell. When you don't feel like it, you say, great, now I can work through that. The great Jerry Rice. Some people think the greatest pro football player ever. At the end of his workouts, and in the offseason, he used to work out 6 to 8 hours a day, but it'd end by running up a mountain. He had this unbelievable, torturous climb. And then when he got to the top, he did wind sprints up and down. And they said, how often do you feel like quitting? All the time. He said, I feel like throwing up all the time. So then the interviewer said, well, how do you get through it? He said, I fight through it. Every time I feel like quitting, I feel like throwing up, I say, fight through it, Jerry. Fight through it, Jerry. Fight through it, sir. So this is your takeaway. Fight through it. Fight through the boredom. Fight through the panic. Fight through the fatigue. Fight through it.
Thanks, Doc. That was great. And there's nothing like taking action. See, when our feelings come first, our goals come last. But if we put our actions ahead of our feelings, we can let our actions take care of everything. If it is to be, it is up to me. If it is to be, it is up to me, and it is all up to you. All your actions, can you put your actions ahead of your feelings? You can. Will you do it today? Will you start today to make this change? You will be a changed athlete. It's up to you. Everything is up to you, and you decide. Am I going to take action before I walk out here? Well, you can decide at home. You can decide, but you won't know until you actually get out there. And then when you get out there, let your actions decide everything. Thanks a lot, Doc. We'll see everybody next week. Hey, Coach D here. Thank you for joining us tonight. And in about 40 seconds, we're going to give you a sneak peek of next week's Think Like a Champion podcast, Thursday night, 8 p.m., the first step of becoming a champion. And if you want us to come and ignite that fire within your organization, just email us, alloutathletes@gmail.com. If you want to have the hunger of a champion, Monday Morning Igniter. 8 a.m. I give a locker room speech to boost your energy and focus so you can train like a champion. Here comes your sneak peek about next week.
This class? She said, no, I've never been late to any class. Now, you might be saying, oh, this is too hard. I mean, I can't go to every class. I can't go to every practice. I can't love my sport. I can't love school. Well, if you think this is going to be difficult, if you think it's going to be difficult to show up all the time, imagine how difficult it's going to be to compete against somebody who does if you don't. If you think it's going to be difficult to love your sport, imagine how difficult it's going to be to compete against somebody who does if you don't.
You have to your competitor already started. Maybe it's 6:30 in the morning. But how many athletes have you gone up against and you said to yourself, I can't beat them? Yeah, because they've been starting while you were sleeping.
It's so easy to be better than average. But if you don't show up and if you don't have passion, you're just going to be average. And Coach D and I are at war against average. We don't want you to be average.